Good evening, everybody. Thanks for everyone who hopped on the Facebook Live and who's joining us right now. This will also be on. This will also be recorded and posted on YouTube and still here on Facebook later on. So let's jump right in. We got a winter storm to talk about coming into our neck of the woods for really tomorrow afternoon and into evening. First up on your screen is the current hazards issued right now. Everyone in the pink, which is south of our area, south of I-64, is in a winter storm warning. That goes in effect later tomorrow afternoon and evening, and on into the day, or first part of the day on Wednesday. This kind of like light blue, purplish shaded area for Wayne, Edwards, and Wabash counties. And that is a winter weather advisory that was posted earlier this afternoon, and that goes into effect overnight on Tuesday evening and into the first part of the day on Wednesday. One more, just to show you for all of our northern counties along I-70 and points north, anyone in this light blue shaded area, that's what we call a cold weather advisory. In the past, we would call that a wind chill advisory, but over the off-winter season, the National Weather Service has kind of consolidated their warnings to get rid of the wind chill watches and warnings and advisories, and combined a couple of them to just cold weather advisories, cold weather watch, and cold weather warnings. So especially tonight and on into the next couple days, we'll see this cold weather advisory really kick in for much of the area. Wind chill is expected down, especially in the negative 5 to 6 range, all the way to negative 10 to negative 15. So it's going to be cold out there, regardless if you see any snow or not. Speaking of snow, let's kind of time this out for you on a future radar. So I'm going to show you a couple different forecast models, and then we'll talk snow totals and talk cold after that. So this is the HRRR. This is one of the high-resolution American models, and we're going to pick this up at midnight tonight. What you'll see is we may see some scattered snowflakes flying around overnight. That's probably not going to amount to much, but we could see some snowflakes if you're out and about tonight or into the first part of your day tomorrow morning. And there we go, is about 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Could see some scattered snow showers out and about. Nothing real major out of that in terms of accumulation. Maybe a dusting to, maybe a half inch. Here comes our bigger system, though. It's off to our west, and as it tracks in, we'll see snow coverage start to pick up as we go into the evening hours tomorrow night. This is now Tuesday evening. Tomorrow evening at 6 p.m., snow starting to filter in to our western counties and southwestern counties. And that'll kind of continue on as we go into the overnight hours. Here we're coming up on midnight now. Snow starts to fill in along Route 50 and points just north of that. As we go on into the overnight Wednesday night, it kind of all gets pushed out of here by daybreak Wednesday morning, at least according to the HRRR. And notice, if I back this up just a little bit, some of those heavier snows were, kind of concentrated further to our south, in the Carbondale area, Paducah area, and points south of there. All right. Next up is the 3-kilometer NAM. This is another high-resolution American model. We'll pick this up again at midnight tonight. Again, there's those scattered snowflakes possible into the overnight hours tonight. If we go on into the first part of the day tomorrow, again, possible scattered snowflakes flying for your morning commute. Here comes our bigger system, though, off to the west. That kicks in at about dusk tomorrow night. This is about 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Snow starting to fill into the picture. The 3-kilometer NAM is a little more aggressive with the intensity of the snow, but we could still see, most of us will still see some snow out of this in terms of that. Maybe not quite as intense, though, as the 3-kilometer NAM suggesting. Notice as we go into the overnight, into the first part here, 6 a.m. Wednesday morning, all that snow is still pretty well pushed off to our east for your morning commute Wednesday. So that's the two main models I'll show you, the HRRR and the 3-kilometer NAM. Timing was pretty well both the same. Looking at snow starting after dusk tomorrow night, somewhere in the 6 to 8 o'clock time frame, especially down to the southwest. And then snow through the overnight hours, filling in closer to midnight if you're further to the north, closer to that I-70 corridor, before backing off and really being out of the picture by the daylight hours on Wednesday morning. Okay, so that's timing. Let's talk snow. First up is the lower resolution NAM. And these models did a big old flip-flop between yesterday and today. Last night, looking at the models in the evening, we were generally in the 2 to 4, maybe the occasional 5-inch mark along Route 50, heavier as you went further to the south. This morning, I got up, checked everything, complete 180 flip-flop. We had went, most of the area north of Route 50 was closer to the dusting inch and a half range. Models are starting to kind of come back from that, so what's going to be the big kicker with all of these snow totals is how much dry air we get into the area, and that's all going to be courtesy of a high-pressure system that will be located kind of off to our north. All this cold air that it is feeding in will kind of take some of the moisture out of the atmosphere and kind of help dry it out. So if we get more dry air settled in, that will lead to a little bit lesser on the snow totals. So anyway, off that soapbox, here we go. Low resolution NAM, it's suggesting anywhere 3 to 4 inch range along the Route 50 corridor, closer, further north towards I-70, 1 to 2 inches. North of I-70, a dusting at most, maybe a half an inch. Further south, once you get closer to that I-64 corridor, maybe 5-6 inches. The 3 kilometer NAM, this is the high resolution one, paints a similar picture, somewhere in the 3 to 4 inch range along Route 50, inch to inch and a half, maybe 2 inches along the Route 33 corridor, 6 to 7 as you go further to the south. Here's an ensemble picture. This is the short range ensemble forecast model. Again, similar picture, maybe 2 to 3 along the Route 50 corridor, 4, maybe a 5-inch mark as you go further to the south, less as you go north. So there's kind of 3 different model runs of what we could see. Next up are the National Weather Service forecasts. These are the people that issue all those winter weather advisories and winter storm watches and warnings. So here's a general picture for estimated forecast snowfall for tomorrow. Notice most of the area, it paints in a 1 to 3 inch range from about I-70 clear down to Route 50, 2 to 4 as you get further south, closer to the I-64 corridor. This is just a different view of that. Again, 1 to 3 along the Route 50 corridor, heavier amounts as you go further to the south. This picture is a high-end 1 in 10 chance if we were to see an absolute boom forecast where we had just an abundant amount of snow. Not a whole lot, really, for the area. Somewhere in the 3 to 4 range along the Route 50 corridor, 5 to 6 as you go further south towards Fairfield and Albion. Heavier amounts, obviously, as you go south of that. Here's the low-end amount. 9 in 10 chance we'll see at least this much. Notice we're all pretty well guaranteed to see at least a little bit of snow, especially if you're long and south of I-70. But any measurable snow, you're going to have to get closer to the I-64 corridor before we start talking any heavier amounts. So that's what the National Weather Service thinks. Here is my evening forecast update, and I've refined this just a little bit from my post earlier today. I think if you're anywhere near the I-70 corridor up to our north, you're probably only going to see a dusting to maybe half an inch when everything's all said and done out of the storm system. Further to the south, closer to the Route 50 corridor, inch to 4 inches. I've got this such wide of a range because there's still just the uncertainty of how much dry air that cold air is going to bring in with it. So that's why there's such a range in that Further to the south along I-64 and points south of there, 4 to 8 inches, definitely not out of the question. There were some snow totals even closer back towards southwestern Missouri, where they could see 8 to 12 inches of snow possible there. But around here, again, generally along that Route 50 corridor, somewhere in the 1 to 4 inch range. If you're further north, say along that Route 33 corridor, 1 to 2, maybe 3 inches if we get a really boom forecast, and 3 to 4, further to the south, again, if we see some of those bigger forecast totals. One thing that this storm will have with it that we haven't really seen this winter is all of this snow is going to be really cold and really fluffy. So because it's a colder, drier snow, it's going to be fluffier, it's going to blow around a lot. We won't see really, really strong winds out of this, but, expect some blowing snow just because of how light and how powdery the character of this snow is. So that's kind of the snow forecast for the next couple of days. Let's talk cold temperatures for a minute. After the snow gets out of here, it is going to get pretty chilly across the area. On your screen is forecast high temperatures for tomorrow, Tuesday afternoon, mid-teens for a lot of the area. We're not going to get much warmer than that for the next couple days. Forecast high temperatures on Wednesday, much of the same, mid to maybe upper teens across our region. Thursday, we're back in the mid-teens picture, so it's going to stay cold for our daytime highs through midweek, and overnight lows are going to be even colder. This is forecast lows for Wednesday morning as you're up and out and about. Single-digit temperatures expected across much of the area, even colder as you go back to the north and west. Thursday, that cold air starts to invade a little bit more. This model suggests we could see below zero temperatures Thursday morning for your morning commute. We'll see if that pans out yet or not, but it is definitely going to get pretty cold, especially Wednesday and into Thursday, and I can show you wind chills as well with this. Forecasted wind chills, at least according to the Canadian model, could be anywhere in the negative 15 to negative 20 range across most of the area for that Thursday morning commute. That's most likely Wednesday into Thursday is when we could see maybe a cold weather advisory issued, especially further south of I-70. And just to kind of backtrack for a second, wind chills Wednesday morning aren't going to be much better than Thursday, negative single digits down to the negative 10 mark across much of the area. So it's going to get cold as we go through midweek. Last big map I will show you is the forecast temperature anomalies. These are not air temperatures, but temperature anomalies as we go through the work week. So this particular map is high temperatures on Wednesday. We could be anywhere in the negative 20 to 25 degree range below normal in terms of air temperatures, but look at this big pocket of cold air in the Central Plains where they could be almost negative 40 degrees colder than normal. But better news is on the horizon. As we go towards Friday, temperatures moderate a little bit. Maybe we're only 15 degrees below normal for Friday. As we jump ahead to Sunday, though, look at that. The cold air starts to work its way out of here, and we get back to seasonable temperatures. By Monday for afternoon highs, we could be a little bit above normal. So if you don't like the cold weather, you don't like the snow, there's more in store for you. We've got some warmer air on the horizon, and just to kind of leave us off with this, Climate Prediction Center outlooks agree with this on the 6 to 10 day. This takes us through the end of the month. Warmer air off to our west. That will start to work its way east as we go into the first part of March. And precip also looks to stay a little bit drier than average on the 6 to 10 day. And maybe introduction of a little bit more moisture as we go into March. So warmer air is on the horizon. We see that pattern flip coming into focus as we get past this last little cold and snowy stretch here for the next couple days. So kind of to sum everything up, timing on this winter weather system looks to be after dusk on Tuesday, say after about 6 p.m. all the way until Wednesday at noon. Really, I think that's going to be, I think it'll all be out of here by the morning commute, but just in case we have any lingering showers, that's why I put Wednesday at noon. Accumulations, trace to 4 inches is probably going to be pretty common across the entire area. Trace amounts as you go further north towards I-70, Route 50 corridor, 2 to 3 inches probably isn't out of the question for a lot of us. But if we get some of that drier air in, that could knock the snow totals back a little bit. Impacts could be minor to moderate across the area, depends on how much snow you get. Further to the south, that's where those moderate impacts will kick in. Extreme cold midweek, and temperatures will moderate after that. So I think that's pretty much everything I've got for you this evening. Stay tuned for updates. If I see any updates in the morning that encourage me to post another snowfall forecast, I will. However, I think this one's probably what we're going to stick with, and I'll have this posted on Facebook momentarily. So thanks everyone for joining in on the live stream, and make sure you follow the page for more updates.